Puppis, which is a K-class less luminous supergiant star with an apparent magnitude of approximately 3.6 and a surface temperature of around 4,700 degrees Kelvin. After that, we have Zeta Puppis, which is an O-class supergiant star with an apparent magnitude of approximately 2.2 and a surface temperature of around 40,860 degrees Kelvin. Zeta Puppis also emits amount of nitrogen-3 and helium-2. Next, we have C Puppis, which is a G-class supergiant star with an apparent magnitude of approximately 3.4 and a surface temperature of around 4,880 degrees Kelvin. And then we have Rho Puppis, which is an F-class bright giant star with an apparent magnitude of approximately 2.7 and a surface temperature of around 6,550 degrees Kelvin. Now, this should look a little familiar. It's that constellation we saw earlier, Puppis, but just upside down. However, if you should happen to, say, change the perspective, it doesn't look like Puppis anymore, at all. Change the distance or the angle at which you're looking at, and most of the time it just won't look the same as it does from where it is now. Now, the galaxy that I plan to do for this would be the open cluster of M46, which was the first object that Charles Messier discovered after he had published the first edition of his list, which happened to include M1 through M45. Now, M46 is very rich, with around 150 stars of magnitude 10 through 13 and probably a total population of stars of over 500. The brightest of these stars would be spectral type A0, which would mean each would be around 100 times more luminous than our Sun. The brightest is of apparent magnitude 8.7. Now, the open cluster is 5,400 light-years away from us. Now, as far as myths go, Puppis doesn't have any because it used to be part of a much larger constellation called Argo Novis, which got broken up into multiple constellations so that science could have 88 constellations in the night sky. Now, Argo Novis is supposedly the boat that Jason and the Argonauts sailed on to get the Golden Fleece. Now, I'm pretty certain that you've all heard the story, but in case you haven't, I will give you a quick run-through of what it is. So the way the myth starts off is saying that Jason's father got killed by Jason's uncle because Jason's uncle wanted the throne because he wants to be king, because who doesn't? And Jason's mother hides him and brings him to a centaur who hides him away and raises him on a mountain. When Jason turns 20, he journeys to his uncle and says that he wants his throne back because throne. His uncle replies that Jason needs to accomplish a difficult task in order to do this. The task is for Jason to retrieve the Golden Fleece, which is apparently kept beyond the edge of the known world in a land called Colchis. The story of the fleece in itself is an interesting tale, but since this is a quick version, I'm not gonna tell you. Long story short, it's on an island and it's well guarded. Now, determined to reclaim his throne, Jason agrees to grab the Golden Fleece, but before that, he assembles a team of great heroes, and they sail aboard the ship called the Argo, which is the Argo Novice, which is exactly how this ties into each other. Now, they go by a few stops, but after a very long time, they pass Constantinople, which is nowadays Istanbul, so it's not Constantinople anymore, unfortunately. It's fun to say. Anyway, they're heading for the Straits of Bosphorus. The Straits of Bosphorus are a narrow passageway of water between the Sea of Marmara, the Aegean Sea, and the Black Sea. It's very small, trust me, I've seen it on a map. Now, to the ancient Greeks, this was the edge of the known world. Now, the straits were extremely dangerous, and the ancient Greeks believed that rocks that would crush you guarded the straits. Now, Jason had figured out how to fool the rocks with help from a blind prophet, so what he did was he sent a bird ahead of him, and the rocks would then murder the bird and allow Jason to go through. I feel really bad for that bird. Anyway, when he finally arrives at the island, he asks the person there to return the Golden Fleece to him, as it belonged to his ancestor. Yeah, complicated. Anyway, reluctant, the king suggests more challenges to Jason. He must yoke fire-breathing bulls, plow and sow a field with dragon's teeth, and then overcome the warriors who will rise from the furrows, because dragon teeth do that. The king is confident that the tasks are impossible, but his daughter Media has taken a liking to Jason. She offers to assist Jason if he will marry her. He agrees. Media is a powerful sorceress and helps Jason, and Jason is successful. Now, Jason and Media return to Greece, where Jason claims his father's throne, but they aren't happy for long. The locals are uncomfortable with Media's magic, and they drive both of them out of the city. They go into exile on this tiny island called Corinth, where the king there offers Jason his daughter in marriage. He agrees and so violates his vow to the gods to be true only to Media. Everyone dies.